Religion is one of humanity's oldest companions. Long before we built machines, we built myths. Long before we created nations, we created rituals. From cave paintings and fire-lit dances to vast cathedrals and sacred texts, religion has always been there, guiding us, shaping us, and sometimes dividing us. But religion is not only about worship. It's about identity, morality, and community. It influences how we live, what we value, and even how we imagine the afterlife. In this video, we'll take a journey through history and across cultures to see how religion has shaped human life and society. From ancient civilizations to modern nations, from art and politics to philosophy and science, faith has left its fingerprints everywhere. And whether you believe in God, many gods, or none at all, religion's story is, in many ways, the story of us. Religion as humanity's moral compass. In the earliest societies, religion acted as humanity's first law book. There were no police forces, no governments, no written constitutions. What kept people from harming one another? Belief in higher powers and fear of divine justice. The Ten Commandments in Judaism and Christianity, the Dharma in Hinduism, and the Buddhist Eightfold Path all gave people clear codes of conduct. In Islam, the Quran emphasizes justice, kindness, and responsibility. In Confucianism, duty to family and social harmony are paramount. These weren't abstract ideas. They structured life. Breaking these codes wasn't just illegal, it was sinful. And this belief helped hold societies together. Story example. In ancient Mesopotamia, the Code of Hammurabi, one of the first written laws, was said to come directly from the gods. People obeyed not just because the king said so, but because the divine demanded it. That's how religion gave law its authority. Religion as the mother of culture and art. Religion has also been the mother of culture. Some of humanity's greatest achievements in art, music, and architecture came from devotion. Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, Islamic calligraphy, Hindu temple carvings, Buddhist chants, and Jewish psalms all were created as offerings to the divine. Even literature has been deeply shaped by faith. Dante's Divine Comedy painted vivid visions of heaven and hell. Rumi's poetry blended love with mysticism. The Bhagavad Gita explored duty, morality, and divine will. And religion's influence continues today. Movies like The Matrix echo Buddhist and Christian themes. Music from gospel choirs to spiritual rap still draws from faith. Story example. Consider Gothic cathedrals of Europe. Their towering spires weren't just architecture. They were sermons in stone. Every arch, every stained glass window told a story, teaching people who couldn't read the Bible about heaven, hell, and salvation. Religion, society, and power. Religion has always been tied to power. Ancient kings ruled as divine representatives. Pharaohs of Egypt were worshipped as gods. Medieval Europe crowned kings in cathedrals. Religion gave rulers legitimacy, but it also gave people resistance. The Crusades reshaped Europe and the Middle East. The Protestant Reformation split Christianity and changed politics forever. And in modern times, faith has fueled revolutions and reforms. Gandhi drew strength from Hindu principles of nonviolence. Martin Luther King Jr. preached equality through Christian teachings. For them, religion was not a weapon of oppression, but a tool for liberation. Story example. Martin Luther King once said, "Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase." His religious conviction gave him courage to fight injustice, proving how powerful faith can be when turned toward justice. Religion and the search for meaning. Religion is also about the ultimate questions. Where did we come from? Why are we here? What happens when we die? Science answers the how galaxies form, how evolution works, how diseases spread. But religion tries to answer the why. Why should we be kind? Why endure suffering? Why fear injustice? Religions provide narratives that give life meaning. Christianity offers eternal life with God. Hinduism and Buddhism emphasize karma and rebirth. Islam teaches accountability on the Day of Judgment. Even for non-believers, these ideas shape expectations. The longing for fairness, the belief that good should triumph over evil. These instincts are inherited from thousands of years of religious teaching. Philosophical contrast. Philosophers like Nietzsche declared God is dead, arguing that modern humanity must create its own values. But even Nietzsche admitted, it's not so easy to erase religion. Our morality, our concepts of justice and purpose, are still painted with religious colors. Religion has always been closely tied to power and the way societies are organized. In many ancient civilizations, kings and rulers claimed divine authority, presenting themselves as chosen by the gods, or even as gods themselves. This gave them not only political control, but also spiritual legitimacy. From the pharaohs of Egypt to the emperors of Rome and China, religion was a tool to unify people under a common belief system. Sacred rituals, symbols, and festivals were used to strengthen loyalty to the state. Even today, religion continues to influence laws, education, and public life. In some countries, religious values are deeply embedded in political systems, shaping debates on issues like marriage, justice, and human rights. But religion's relationship with power is not only about control. It has also been a driving force for social change. Many of history's greatest reformers, from Gandhi to Martin Luther King Jr., drew strength from their faith to challenge injustice and inspire movements for freedom and equality. Of course, this power has two sides. While religion can unite, guide, and uplift societies, it has also been at the heart of conflicts, wars, and divisions when misused. One of the most powerful roles religion plays in human life is the creation of community. From the very beginning of human history, people gathered together around shared beliefs and rituals. Religion gave early societies a way to connect, to feel part of something larger than themselves. Places of worship, whether they are churches, mosques, temples, or synagogues, have always been more than just spaces for prayer. They are centers of social life. They are where people meet friends, celebrate milestones, and find support during difficult times. In many cultures, your religious community becomes your extended family. Religious festivals are a beautiful example of this. Think about Christmas, Eid, Diwali, Passover, or Vesak. These aren't just religious observances. They're celebrations that bring entire communities together. Families cook and eat together, neighborhoods decorate their homes, and strangers exchange greetings as though they've known each other for years. In these moments, religion strengthens bonds of love and solidarity. But the community power of religion extends beyond ceremonies. It provides a system of mutual aid. For centuries, religious groups have been the backbone of charity, feeding the hungry, caring for the sick, supporting the poor, and offering education. Hospitals, orphanages, and schools around the world were built and run by religious institutions long before governments took on these responsibilities. Community also gives individuals identity and belonging. In a world that can feel isolating, faith communities remind us that we are not alone. They give people a sense of shared purpose, something bigger than personal struggles. This is why, even in today's fast-paced and digital world, people continue to gather in faith groups, whether offline or online, to find connection. However, it's important to recognize both sides. The same sense of belonging that unites believers can sometimes create separation from outsiders. Communities built on shared faith can unintentionally exclude or divide those with different beliefs. This dual nature reminds us that the power of community is incredibly strong, and it can be used to build bridges or, sadly, to build walls. Ultimately, religion's role in Religion in the modern world. Religion is often seen as something ancient, tied to old traditions, scriptures, and rituals. But the reality is, religion continues to play a powerful role in our modern world, even in ways we might not always notice. Today, more than 80% of the global population identifies with a religion. This means that, despite scientific advances, globalization, and the rise of secularism in some countries, faith still remains central to billions of lives. But how exactly does it influence us in the 21st century? Let's start with values. Even in societies that consider themselves secular, ideas of compassion, justice, forgiveness, and human dignity often come directly from religious traditions. When we talk about human rights, equality, or charity, we are echoing principles shaped by centuries of religious teaching. Religion also adapts with the times. Today, sermons are live-streamed, prayers are shared through apps, and online communities gather for virtual worship. Faith is no longer confined to physical temples or churches. It has gone digital. For many, this makes religion more accessible than ever before. At the same time, modern life challenges traditional beliefs. Science has answered questions about the origins of the universe. Medicine has changed how we understand life and death, and technology reshapes daily existence. This has caused some people to move away from organized religion, seeking spirituality outside traditional structures. Yoga, meditation, mindfulness, and New Age practices often fill this gap, showing that even without formal religion, the human hunger for meaning and transcendence remains. But religion's presence in the modern world is not only personal, it's political. Faith continues to influence elections, laws, and global debates on issues such as marriage, education, healthcare, and human rights. In some nations, religion remains deeply embedded in government policies, while in others, it sparks heated debates about the separation of church and state. There is also a global dimension. Interfaith dialogue has become increasingly important in a world connected by migration, travel, and technology. In diverse societies, as we've seen, religion is not just a matter of rituals or beliefs. It is woven into the fabric of human existence. It shapes our values, our communities, our cultures, and even our politics. Whether we realize it or not, religion has touched every corner of human civilization, from the laws that govern us to the art that inspires us, from the traditions we celebrate to the morals we live by. But perhaps the most fascinating thing about religion is that it reflects something universal about human beings, the deep longing for meaning, connection, and transcendence. Religion, in its many forms, has always been humanity's attempt to answer the biggest questions. Why are we here? What is our purpose? What happens when we die? Now, in the modern world, these questions remain as powerful as ever. Some people find their answers in ancient scriptures, in prayer, and in devotion. Others seek them through science, philosophy, or new spiritual practices. But regardless of where people look, the search itself shows that the human spirit is restless. It is always reaching for something greater. Religion has also shown us the best and worst of humanity. At its highest, it inspires love, compassion, charity, and justice. At its lowest, it can be used as a weapon of division, control, and even violence. This dual nature reminds us of our responsibility. Religion is a tool. Its impact depends on how we use it. And this is where the future lies. In a world that is more connected than ever before, with billions of people from different faiths and philosophies living side by side, we have a choice. We can allow religion to divide us, or we can use it as a source of wisdom, empathy, and unity. Imagine a world where religions do not compete, but cooperate, where shared values of compassion, peace, and justice outweigh differences in rituals or doctrines, where faith inspires us not to fight over what separates us, but to work together for the survival of our planet and the well-being of humanity. So, whether you are a believer, a skeptic, or somewhere in between,